Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Jakarta EE update call. We are starting, let me share first the agenda. I hope everyone can see my screen. Is that right? Anyone out there? Can you hear us? Yes. Okay, fantastic. So here is the agenda for today. So we will have the update on Jakarta E9, and Jakartafying of the specification documents. Then we'll pull Wayne in so he can tell us about the work that has been done on enabling individual participation in the work of the Jakarta EE working group, and particularly with the work on the specification projects. And then I will then pull in Shabnam, who will tell us about the work that we are doing with regards to engaging with JUGs. And of course, as always, we're welcoming questions and topics and feedback in general. So without taking too much of your time, let's see. Ivar, do you want to take it over?
Sure. I'll share my screen here. Let's see. There we go. All right. So what I'll do today is to give a short update on Jakarta EE 9. And to start with, I'll go through the theme of Jakarta EE 9. And we have kind of three main areas where we're focusing on with this release, and that is to lower the entry barriers. And that means that we want to make it as easy as possible for new implementers to implement the Jakarta EE specs. And, Tanya, can you mute your, because I'm hearing keyboards here.
Oh, yeah, that's me. Thank you for pointing out.
No worries. So we want to lower the entry barriers and make it easier for new vendors to come in. So we're not only having the usual suspects of vendors doing the Jakarta EE implementations, but we want to make it as easy as possible for new to come in. And that is what we mean by lower the entry barriers. And one example of that is that we remove stuff that we don't need anymore. So we take it a little bit out of the EJB specification, for example, that those who want to implement it can implement it, and if you're a new vendor and come in, you don't have to implement all this legacy stuff. And we also want to make it a platform for innovation, so make it ready for future work. So that is also what we're doing to kind of set up the specifications in a way so we can start innovate from next release. So EE9 will more or less be a continuation of EE8 with not so much new technology, but we want to set up the foundation so here we can really go innovate further on. And also the third is easy migration. We want to make it as easy as possible for customers or applications running on earlier versions on Java EE and Jakarta EE8 and come over to Jakarta EE9. So that involves some toolings or some magic or some stuff in the implementations that should make it as easy as possible to move from the Java X namespace to the Jakarta namespace, for example. So let's dive a little into the technical things. And these are some topics that are very fresh. We discussed them yesterday in our platform call. And one of the things that we want to do in this, or are going to do in this release, and this is kind of the major thing in this release, is to go from the Java X namespace to the Jakarta namespace. And it's only the Java X part of the name that shall be changed. We don't want to change any class names or change any packages or anything. It's just more or less remove Java X and replace it with Jakarta. So there are some situations where we kind of want to have better package names or better package structure, but that will have to become later, or at least be done very carefully at a case-by-case basis. So it's just Java X to Jakarta X. What we discussed yesterday is the deprecation, and we have a lot of APIs that have a Javadoc at deprecated annotation there. So what we want to do is also to add the at deprecated annotation in the Java source code. So to really mark this, these methods or classes or interfaces as deprecated. So that is also something we should do just to have consistent throughout the platform. Some have done it, some have not. So we want to add this at deprecated annotation, and that is okay, even though it will actually cause some changes in the TCK or the test suites when we add this annotation, but that is something we are aware of, and we want to do this. Property names. All properties that are JavaX should be changed to, or must be changed to, Jakarta. And that is kind of part of the namespace change. It's not the Java package, but it's the actual property name. So these will be changed as well. We also have repeatable annotations. So in the annotations where it makes sense to have at repeatable, it is okay to add it. And some APIs have done it, and some haven't. And where it makes sense, where it's appropriate, it's okay to make these changes. So there's one thing we are discussing. So this is not decided yet. So, and the question is, may the APIs be updated to use generics where appropriate? And this is something we are currently discussing on the mailing list. And I think the last comments on the thread see that this is probably something we're going to wait with until the next release. So but it's still under discussion, and it may be that we kind of convince ourselves that this is a good thing to do now, but probably something we do for next release. But if you have any viewpoints on this, please join the discussion there. So then, this is the overall plan of the Jakarta EE 9 release, and by Friday, our goal or plan says that everything should be in the should have a milestone release candidate for the API jars. We're not there yet, but we're hoping to get there by Friday. It's a couple of days left, and it's not that serious if not everybody is there yet, because we've divided it into waves. So wave 0 is something, all these can be done more or less whenever, because they don't depend on anything, and nothing depends on them. Then we have wave 1 that has to be completed before wave 2, and wave 2 before 3, and so on. So as long as all things in wave 1 are starting to move over, it's pretty okay, and it looks pretty okay. So and this is you can find this on GitHub, this board. So if you want to discuss things like the generics things and stuff, then join the Jakarta EE platform dev list. If you want to discuss more over community things, go to the community mailing list. All the sources are on the EFJ organization on GitHub, and the plan I just showed is our GitHub board on the EFJ project. So that was my update. And I see we have a question. Yes, I may have said Jakarta X, but I meant Jakarta. That's right. Thanks, Kevin. So over to you then, Tanya, I guess.
Thank you, Ivar. Any more questions on Jakarta EE9? Okay. So moving on to, I'll just take some space and invite Wayne to share his screen, and then invite Shabnam on the screen as well. So bye from the screen, Ivar, but hang around. Thank you. Okay.
Did that work?
That works. We see two screens. So if you want to...
Oh, two screens.
Yeah, we see your Jakarta EE update call enabling individual participation, but we see the other one as well. So.
Oh, all right. All right. Let me see if I have a. Okay, I apparently.
Hey, Wayne, we lost you. Okay, so we lost Wayne, but we will invite him back, but also invite Shabnam on the screen. In the meanwhile, I can tell you here in Ottawa, it's nicer weather. The temperature is milder, and we have Wayne back.
Am I sharing just one screen this time?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. So lesson here is try this more than 30 seconds ahead of the time you need to speak. Oh, okay. We changed our order a little bit here. So I just want to take a couple of minutes to talk about the changes that some changes that we made to fix a problem that was identified. So what happened is we noticed that some people, some of the committers in our community were actually excluded from working on specification projects. This was completely unintentional. I think it just speaks to some of the complexities of around intellectual property and specification development. But we wound up in a situation where people who worked for a company that is not a participant in the working group could not be committers. And of course, that's not something that the Eclipse Foundation is particularly comfortable with. We're really all about inclusion and bringing as many people as we can to the table. So we set about solving this problem. And the way that we solve this is by introducing a new agreement. Now, before I get into that, I want to back up a little bit. There has never been a barrier for people contributing to projects. We have a very well-defined notion of contributor, and anybody can contribute content to a specification project, and by extension, a specification, by signing the Eclipse contributor agreement, and then just making pull requests against the corresponding Git repositories, with the idea then being that the committers of that project will engage and work with the contributor to perhaps massage a contribution into proper form, and then it's the committers that would merge that contribution. After establishing a pattern of making high quality contributions to a specification project and demonstrating that you understand the processes around specification development at the Eclipse Foundation, that contributor should be, I'll argue, should be invited to join the project as a committer. Now, committers are the ones that hold the keys. These are the people who have the ability to merge commits. They are the ultimate authority in any project, subject, of course, to, again, with the specification process, the specification committee has a certain amount of oversight. There are certain boundaries too. Committers can't just do whatever they want. Anyway, so once you become a committer, and what I'm showing on the screen right now is a decision process. If you are a student you're unemployed or you're self-employed, we have a individual working group participation agreement. You sign that. That gives you basically all the legal clearances and assurances. This is a legal agreement between you and the Eclipse Foundation that sets you up to be a committer, good to go. If your employer is a member of the Eclipse Foundation and is a member of the working group, in this case, the Jakarta EE working group, then you're basically good to go and you can be a committer. We already, if your employer is already a participant in the working group, then we already have all the necessary paperwork in place and all necessary agreements are there, so you're good to go. It's that gray area in the middle. If your employer is not already a member of the Eclipse Foundation, or your employer is not a member of the participant, pardon me, in the working group, then we need your employer to sign an additional agreement. This is a consent agreement where the employer consents to your involvement in a specification process, in the development of specifications. And then we also have the individual working group participation agreement for that. So we need the committer to sign the individual working group participation agreement and their employer to sign this consent agreement. With those two things in place, we have everything we need for you to be a committer. The discussion that started this was really about fees, and there is no fee for that path. There's no money required, but what we do require is an explicit agreement signed by your employer. So that's basically it in a nutshell. If there's questions, I'm happy to try my best to answer them. Is this thing on?
This thing is on, and it seems that everything is so clear. There are no questions.
I have lulled everybody to sleep. Awesome.
No,
Go with your gifts.
Super happy that this is what that is documented at, and I will put the link in the chat, eclipse.org/legal.
Yes. So in addition to the, I've actually, so we've thrown some documentation up onto the legal page. I will be pushing out a new chapter in the Eclipse Project Handbook that discusses this, among other aspects of specification development. So that documentation will be up, hopefully the end of today. I've just got a little bit of reworking of some wording on there, and I do have a blog post queued up and ready to go. So I will be making this information available in as many convenient forms as possible.
Yep. And we will be tweeting about it and talking about it in various updates and so on. So just hang in there. In the meanwhile, if you want to go to eclipse.org legal and look for the consent agreement, or actually the committer section, then you will find it there. So yes, this is the question from Kevin is this is applying only to Jakarta EE? This applies to any specification project.
Yeah, so
it came out as a need for, it came out as a discussion from Jakarta EE, but the intent is to cover all the specification projects. Go ahead.
So as we are actually working with a number of other groups on specification related work, and this will apply to all of the different working groups that are engaged in specification work. But certainly it does apply to the Jakarta EE working group.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you so much, Wayne.
Okay.
So I will, if you can stop sharing your screen, and then I will pull Shabnam in.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me, Tanya?
I can hear you really well.
Try to share my screen.
And it's working.
All right, great. So I would like to share with you some of the initiatives that we're currently working on to enable Java user groups. As a part of the 2020 Jakarta EE program plan goals to grow the developer community and increase Jakarta EE developer participation, we're working on ways to enable JUGs and get them informed about and involved more in Jakarta EE. So to provide marketing support, we are preparing a Jakarta EE template and presentation that the community members can use for presentation at JUG meetups. So once that's ready, we will make it publicly available for the community use, and hopefully that'll be helpful to enable the community to get the word out about Jakarta EE and provide information and the latest updates to the JUGs out there. Another initiative that we're working on is adopt a Jakarta EE specification program, which is basically intended to encourage JUG leaders and members to get involved by adopting a Jakarta EE specification. So we are developing the Adopt a Specification program page. Am I sharing the page? Can you see that, Tanya?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. So we're developing the Adopt a Specification page, still work in progress, and this page is not live yet, but our web dev has created a mock-up that I'm sharing with you. So as I mentioned, the goal of this program is to encourage JUGs to get more involved in Jakarta EE. And as a part of this program, we are asking for support from the JUG leaders for this program, and there are definitely different ways that they can encourage their members to participate in this program. But as an example, we're suggesting to include the topic of Adopt a Specification program in their discussions and also in meetings with JUG representatives who are running this program. And we're also highlighting how members can participate and get involved in this program to help with the specification development or promoting the specification that they're working on or adopting on their socials, or write a blog about it, write more tests. And we are also outlining how we can help with enabling JUGs, either in terms of promoting and featuring the JUGs in Jakarta EE website. We can provide the opportunity for the JUGs to meet with Jakarta EE experts to discuss Jakarta-related topics, enable JUGs to have Jakarta EE release parties, and also we would provide priority for JUGs that are interested in organizing local Jakartafying live streams in the regions. And finally, we are providing instructions for JUGs to sign up by creating a pull request so that once they adopt a specification, their logos will be featured under the page of the specification that they're adopting. So if you're interested to get more involved in conversations related to this program, join our Slack channel, which you can find that in our Stay Connected page. Here is the URL to the Slack channel. So be sure to join and get involved. So that's all I have. Back to you, Tanya, if there are any questions.
Yeah, so just a comment from my end. Also, since we're talking about JUGs, we're working on collateral, as Shabnam has said, but we would also like to have the opportunity for members of the working group to present at your JUG meetups. So if you know, there is a opportunity for us to present Jakarta EE on your JUG, please reach out and let us know. We would like to schedule that up and have someone from the kind of immediate community present at your JUGs on what's going on with Jakarta EE. Okay, so that is everything that we prepared for today. Any questions, comments, suggestions? Java EE plan to support, has Java EE plan for support JUG group? I'm not sure I'm following the question. Maybe someone else can help me out. Majid, I see your question, but I'm not sure. Like, we definitely would like to work with JUGs, and support is a word that can mean different things, but absolutely we would like to be supported by the JUG community, and we support. We would like to support JUGs as well, if that helps. Okay. Let me know, Majid, if I can be more precise with the answer. Any other questions or comments? I'm still hoping that Crowdcast is something that you prefer over Zoom for the meetings. If this is, you know, if this still works better, let me know. Or if there is a preference, we're just experimenting. This is our second meeting with Crowdcast, and I think it works good, but would like to hear from you. Okay. Not many questions, so please, we will post the recording out there. As soon as we finish the meeting, the same link is going to be the recording. If any follow-up questions or anything you would like to share with us, just feel free to reach out. So Majid is coming back. So has for expand and involved in specification? Yeah, absolutely. So Adopt a Spec program is actually intended of, well, we are not really talking about the Java EE any longer. Yes, we're talking about Jakarta EE, but intention is to have JUGs being more closely involved with the Jakarta EE, and hence the program Adopt a Spec. So the whole point of Adopt a Spec program is to have a JUG that is particularly interested in certain specifications, and have and monitor that specification and progress on it, and of course on the individual level get involved and go through the process that Wayne explained earlier. So becoming a contributor and eventually and hopefully a committer in the specification project. So that is exactly the intent of the Adopt a Spec program. So for the time being, and you will see shortly when we go live, we have a first JUG from Madras that is interested in adopting a spec. So we will, of course, be very social about that and let you know. If you're a member of a JUG or lead a JUG somewhere, and you would be interested to adopt a spec, please reach out. I just shared in the chat the Slack workspace, and you know, you can ping me there. You can reach out to us any way you see the fit, and let us know, and we'll be more than happy to work with you. Okay. Thanks, Majid. Thanks, everyone. Anything else? Okay. So that's it for today. We're having another meeting next month. But in the meanwhile, I think I will schedule another meeting with Steve Millage, who will tell us a little bit more and be more specific on how to get involved. So hang on and look out for that invite as well. Oh, Alexius, I love the perfect spelling there, or font rather. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll be in touch. Bye for now.